Welcome to the When Whit Happens podcast. This is a podcast that helps you find ways to celebrate and live your best life, even when stuff happens. Now here's your host, Whitney West.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. This week, we're going to be talking about something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, and that thing is leisure and rest. And I say that it makes a lot of people uncomfortable because a lot of us have ingrained into us this idea that we'll sleep when we die, work hard, do the most at all times. And that doesn't seem to be the most healthy way to go about things. And unfortunately, this is something that has been ingrained in us for so long that it will make it harder for us to break past these cycles. It can even be seen in all the memes, all the everything of us talking about waking up on Saturday mornings and getting to cleaning the whole entire house, making ourselves useful, getting it done, running all the errands, doing all the things, staying up late at night, grinding, having your job, doing your business, going to school. I know I just described myself. However, a lot of people don't show the times that they are resting, and a lot of times it's because they aren't. And it's because we feel like we have to work hard and show that hard work at all time and grind ourselves down to the bone to feel like we deserve to have the nice things that we have, or just to exist in some instances. And a lot of times, those of us with chronic illnesses, we just can't grind it out like everybody else can. And it makes it feel, on top of just the already the ableism that is there, that we are a disappointment, that we are unable to do something that we should be able to do, or that because we used to be able to do it, now that we can't, we feel like we are somehow lesser. And we may even begin to say things like, well, my parents did this. My parents worked this hard. My parents grinded all the time. They worked XYZ amount of jobs for me to be able to have ABC or XYZ. But did they do that for you to need to struggle in the same manners that they struggled in? Or did they do that so that you could not have to do that? So that you could have some leisure in your life, so that you could rest, so that you don't have to be that for your kids or your nieces and nephews, or nibblings, as they're called collectively. Um, they I think that our parents and, all of our ancestors did what they had to do so that those that come after them do not have to work that hard. Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. That is the mission. And so for me to be able to wake up on a Saturday late and relax because my housekeeper came a few days before is the life that they struggled so that I could live. And it's not even just the thing of, oh, well, I can afford to do that. Now, it's something that I need because with my chronic illness, I can clean up. It's like I can move around and do things, but it's going to take me a lot longer because of the way that my breathing and my oxygen is affected. I can't do everything all at once. So it makes more sense to have a collectively clean space where my head can be clear and hire somebody to do that. It also made sense for me to hire an organizer, Tanisha from Natural Born Organizers, to come and reorganize my space so that it functions well for me and so that I am able to do my best and live my best in my space and know where everything is and I have access to everything. These are things of comfort and leisure, and they do not mean that I am lazy. Leisure does not equal lazy. It just means that I'm doing what I can do, and I've worked hard, and my ancestors have worked hard so that I can get to a place where I can afford these things and I'm able to get these things for myself. I have meal delivery that comes because I don't always have the energy to cook. And honestly, my taste buds be all over the place sometimes. And so having a meal there is like eat something. Okay, that works for me. Or just like a few days ago, a couple days ago actually, I wasn't feeling that great. I came home, went to bed immediately after getting off work. Other than that, I wouldn't have really had any food in the house other than like repeating what I had for lunch. And I hate doing that. Unless it's lasagna. I know this is random. But because I had those meal preps delivered, when I woke up at about 9 or 10 or whenever I got out of bed after napping those hours from not feeling well, I had a meal ready that I just had to pop in the microwave and eat. I did not have to pay exorbitant fees ordering on DoorDash or Uber Eats, which those are also options and things that I do when I don't have meal preps. But it was easy. I did not have to wait. I was hungry in that moment, so I could eat in that moment instead of waiting for food to be delivered, paid at a higher price. And plus, it was super late. There weren't going to be many things open even at that point. So these are things that help me. And these are things that I am not ashamed that I have to do for myself because I am my top priority. And if I don't do some of these things, I'm going to run myself down and not be able to do some of all the other things I want to do, like work, run my business, go to school, talk to my friends, you know, talk to my niece, visit home. It's like I have to outsource some of the things that people see as what they have to do as people, and that's fine. There's a reason there are services that do it. It's not that I'm making up some need that I'm forcing somebody else to do. There's a reason I can Google a meal prep service. There's a reason I can Google a cleaning service. Um, is a reason an organizer, and I even had my laundry outsourced because it had just been sitting there. Yes, I very much prayed for a full size washer and dryer in my next apartment, which is this one, and I got it. And I'm thankful and blessed to have it in here for when I need it. But when the laundry piles up and I'm exhausted and I have other things going on, I have no shame in scheduling a laundry pickup, wash, clean, fold, hang up, and deliver back to my home. And nothing is wrong with that at all. I really want you to take account of why do you really feel whatever feelings that come up when you think about outsourcing like common household things, or you think about just resting, sleeping in, sleeping in a whole weekend, just relaxing your body, taking a break off work to do nothing. Not because you have XYZ explanation to explain why you need days off, just taking a day off, a mental health break. If you have any kind of extreme emotions, anxiety, anything around that, I want you to sit with it for a second and figure out like where that's coming from. Like what was the earliest time you had that feeling? Where did it come from? And is that yours? Is that how you really feel? Or is that something that you heard and learned and picked up as a youth or later and that you just held on to out of fear of being judged about what other people think? And if it's something that you got externally, is it serving you? Is it serving you that you feel like you have to get up and be productive on a Saturday and clean your whole house? Or is there something else that you could be doing to to better yourself and that you could hire someone to do that? Or if you don't, you can just put it off to later in the week. Is it serving you to go by these ideas that you got from someone else that don't even help you? And sometimes they even hinder you. I remember in one of my past jobs, there's this space on the request for leave that has like an explanation. One, I never filled that out because I have the lead. It's really no one's business what I'm doing with it. But when my staff would put the reasons on there, I don't need to know, is what I told them. You can leave that blank. It is not required. I don't need to know that you have to go pick somebody up or you have to do this. Or don't explain to me your need to not be here. You've earned the time off. You can take the time off. Unless it's at a point where it's overlapping something and we need to discuss it, or it's, legally the sick leave over XYZ amount of days that we have to report. None of that stuff matters. Even then, I don't really care. If you're actually sick, why am I gonna be like 72 hours? Hell, I have a chronic illness. You ain't gonna put 72 hours on my chronic illness and tell it to chill. So it's like if it wanna act up for 96, 100 hours, it's gonna do what it does, and that's just that. So it's like, I'm not questioning you. Don't put this on here because it's not something that you should have to justify to anybody else. Take your time, whether that's from work or whether that's from your life. Relax, chill, breathe, and don't feel guilty about it. It doesn't do you any good to stress yourself to the end for nothing, for everybody else, and not for yourself, and not get any kind of rest or relief in doing that. So I really just want you to evaluate why you have those feelings and then start making some subtle changes in your life that will turn into big changes on how you rest, whether it's going to bed a little earlier, sleeping in on the weekend, sleeping in a little later in the morning by getting yourself together in the night so that you can get those extra 30 minutes of sleep. Maybe it is hiring a company to come clean or doing meal prep. You don't have to do all of the above, although all of the above has been lovely for me and I have very much appreciated it. But maybe you want to get there and you will. And part of that has been like knowing that I need those things. It's like, okay, now it's time for me to reevaluate my budget because these are things that I need to put in here to be able to live the life and do the things that I want to do and live in abundance. So I have to put that on the number spreadsheet because I'm not just going to be throwing dollars out the window, which means that if I'm going to be getting meal preps, I'm going to have to also evaluate how much my groceries cost for my other meals every week and make sure that everything fits in there. You have to do the work to be able to afford this, is what I told myself. It's like, and that work was making sure it fits in my budget. Make those subtle changes. See what you can afford. See what you can do. See the time you really have so that you can have a little more leisure in your life, a little more relaxation, and then really truly get down to why you feel like you're lazy if you take a break. Leisure is not lazy, and you deserve to live in abundance and a leisurely life. Thank you so much for listening to When Whit Happens, the podcast. You can find me on all the social medias. Go and hit me up. Let me know in the comments on my post on social media. What thing are you going to do for yourself that's leisurely this week? Let's make it this week, okay? And I will see you all next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to When Whit Happens. You can find Whitney living her best life at thewhitneywest.com and at The Whitney West on social media. Subscribe and follow for updates. Until next time, keep living your best life.